Yeah, I'm doing it, Pradeep. Yeah, just started recording. You can see that. So from here, can you see my screen? Am I sharing screen? Confirm two things. One, are
Yeah,
you
right.
able to see my screen?
Yeah, right.
Two, can you hear my voice? Okay,
Yes, sir, we are seeing.
fine. Thank you. So this anyhow, I'll keep it here. Add more requirements. One fine day, if all of you think you are too good with your technical side, we'll start implementing these things. Okay, we'll take a couple of projects and we try to solve them. That itself is going to give you a lot of confidence. That itself is enough to build a resume and start applying for jobs. Especially there are jobs even exclusively on automations. You can try that. Okay. So now we tried all these problems. So what is that? Printing even numbers, printing odd numbers. I think we solved these problems. Even ascending order, even descending order, odd ascending order, odd descending order, all that with the help of this for and range type 3 range functions. Okay, are you ready for next thing? So today what we do is start working with what I want to do is we'll do few programs with for loop. Okay, and then I'll jump start to the which one data structures. Data structures is like heart of Python. Learn it as much as possible, because today if you see I just gave you a simple example. So in my project, without functions, without data structures, you cannot expect implementing any coding in your project, in your day-to-day work. So that is such is the importance. Without looping, without data structures, without condition checks, you don't expect a code to build in your project. Okay, fine. But only thing is no problem. I can help you all the I can help all of you with all that. Only thing is have little fire. That's all. Now getting to the another task, right? With for loop, what we do is a program to find sum of first n numbers, n natural numbers or n natural numbers. We solve this problem because you get an idea with the you build that hands-on thing with for loop. Similarly, program to print factors of a number. Okay. And another program to find sum of factors of a number. Okay. Sum of factors of a number. And then maybe if you want, you can print even factors, odd factors. There are so many, but that is okay. And similarly, you can give a try for prime or composite. Okay. And similarly, if you want, you can give a try for palindrome or Armstrong. We'll solve some of them today and then jump to the next topic. If you want to know more about all this, we'll do one thing. Actually, it's not last week. I think Suresh asked me for a weekend session, but due to festival, we couldn't plan it, Suresh. Maybe we'll try to plan this week, not early in the morning. Little this thing, okay? Little late, like around 11 o'clock, like that. Okay, fine. Let's start this one now. How to find sum of first 10 natural numbers using for loop. Do you want to give a try? If you guys want to give a try, take few minutes and implement it. If you can think and do it, definitely I'll help you to do. No, nothing. You don't need to worry much about it. So these are the problems we need to solve. Okay, first start solving this, because project building starts from here only. Maybe you might think these are simple things, but still applying starts from here. When you know how to apply, then automatically you can work with any kind of problem. Okay, you start with first sum of first 10 natural numbers. Already I had discussed that. I did that. Anyhow, I will again try to solve my even and show you. This is our program with for loop. It's a simple thing. So what is that you should do is as an algorithm first. I'm giving you a quick steps how to implement that. You take a range function with for. So first input n. Okay, read n from keyboard. That is step one. So you know how to read it, right? Use input function. Read n from keyboard. That is step one. I'm giving you algorithm so that you can follow steps and you can create a program. That's step two. What is that you should do? Use iterate for loop. Iterate for loop from 1 to n. From one starting with 1 to till that number reaches that n. 1 to n. So that is step two. Step three. What is step three you should do? You have to choose range function here. For this, you can apply a range, just adding, you can use a range function to do this iteration. Because we didn't use, we didn't start to discuss anything about collections. So use range here as until we discuss any collection or until we implement any list or set or something. But for this kind of to implement this kind of logics, range is best recommended. You don't need any other collections like list or set or dictionary or tuple, right? To solve such these kind of examples. Okay, range is best recommended. So this is fine. Next one, logic. Logic for sum is simple, sum equal to, or you can take result because sum is a built-in function. Maybe you can change it a bit, sum one or something. Result equal to result plus that number or that value. Okay, this is how you have to find sum of first and natural numbers, right? And finally, you should print it. I gave a simple algorithm, quick algorithm, so that you understand first what to do. Now let's get to the PyCharm. So now what we do is inside for loop, you can create a new program, Python file otherwise. Okay, you can close this because these other windows, you can close it so that you have a clear this thing here. Now, how to create a new program? Go to PyCharm. We created a project here. Okay, already all this how to create project, how to create packages, and how to add programs in that packages. All that is clearly discussed in previous videos. So you can go and check, go through those videos once. Now, in this far folder, right click and then say new, and then Python file, and then what do you do here? Just name the program. What is that? Sum of n numbers. Okay, you can give proper names to the programs. When you look at that programs, you should understand, you should easily understand what exactly is that program. That is how you should name your programs. That is how you have to name your variables or right. So that is how we should create programs. Now enter and create that. Now you see all these programs, by looking at them, we can easily understand what each program is doing. So that makes more easy for you just to easily identify what programs you have created. So that is fine. Now sum of n numbers. So you can add a quick comment. So what is this? This program is sum of first n natural numbers. So this is one thing. Second thing, so always having a comment about your program is important. If it is a real coding, if it is a, if you are doing the same in development, you provide your program name and then the author as well. Means author instance developer. Whoever is the developer, you have to just provide name here. So you can simply say author and then colon. You can say my name is Manoram, so I created Manoram Shiv Prabhu. Okay. So this is my name here. Similarly, you can put this in triple quotes, single. So we don't need single line comments. If you have more than one comment, using triple quotes is a good habit. So that is how you have to build code hygiene. That is very important. Next one. Now, what is that you should do? You should start a for loop for I in a range of course, I told you to read n from keyboard. So how many natural numbers we should do addition? For 10, first 10 natural numbers or first 20 natural numbers or first 30 natural numbers. So we should get that count actually. So here read n equal to input, of course, int of input of you can say enter n here. So what I am doing here, input function accepts or read a value from keyboard, and then we are doing that, converting that number to that numeric string, whatever we enter from keyboard, to that we are converting to integer here and assigning to n. You also please try to practice it along with me. Okay, first understand, and later on you can keep doing this problems or programs. Listen carefully first. Later, if you want, I'll give a few minutes. You can practice it and then complete it. So this is one thing. We try to read value from keyboard. Step 1 is completed. Step 2, iterate this for loop from 1 to that number. So for that, range of your starting value should be 1, comma, and you should iterate till n. Okay, if you should iterate till n, you can put n plus 1 so that it stops with n. Because that if you give n, suppose n is 10, then it will iterate till only 9. So if you want to stop with 10, then you have to pass this as 11. Okay. What range function? I have clearly explained about how the behavior of range function in the previous class. So it starts with this is the start value, and this end value is excluded. It will iterate till n minus 1. So to balance that, just say n plus 1. That would be better for us. Okay. Now, comma. If you want, you can add default it increments by 1. You don't need a step here. Okay. And unless if you want increment by 2, by 3, something like that. Now, logic, of course, you need one variable here, some result equal to 0. Declare a variable result outside loop and assign it to 0. Okay. So this is one thing. Next one after that. So you have to declare to add some, to find some, should create one resultant variable here. Some people use some people use add, some people put result. I put result here and initialize to 0. Okay, and iterate from 1 to that n. If you say n plus 1, it iterates till n. And by default, this performs incrementation. If you don't in this, by default range performs incrementation. Okay, this is because this is having just 2 parameters, the start and the end, so that it by default perform a incrementation. So we don't have any issues with this range. If you want to do descending, or if you want to decrement, then we have to use type 3 range function. But for now, this is enough. Okay, now apply the logic. Result equal to result plus what is that? I. Finally, we are done with that. Here, you don't need any step statement or anything, because for has everything inbuilt. There is a step statement internally. Initialization happens internally. Condition check happens internally. All that is inbuilt for loop. Any loop needs all this: a start point, a condition, and a step statement. But for this is a special loop, right? So everything is inbuilt. That is they are there, but they are internally built. So you don't need to care about it. Okay. So we are done with this. Finally, what is that print? You have to print the result. So what is that? You should say the result is. Okay. And then you can just put a flower processor, just say format. Okay. And then in brackets, you just pass this result here. And then that's enough, friends. Okay, this is a simple program. What is this program for? Program to find sum of first n natural numbers using for loop. Okay, I hope this is clear. I'll just trace and quickly show you how this works. Each step, what's happening in every step. We will trace it and we try to understand more about this. So what do you do right now? Right click this and then say sum of, so just choose that program, run this program, give n here. I want to do sum of first 10 numbers, then it is 55. This is perfectly for right answer. This is correct answer. So we don't need to worry much about it. Maybe if you want to rerun, run this again and then give 20. And you can see here 210. Result is 210. You can just check it manually as well. But my gut feeling is this is a perfect answer. Okay, sum of first 20 numbers is 210. Okay. Maybe one more time, I'm just testing this program. I'm giving 100. First 100 numbers is 50-50. Definitely, the program is working as expected. We are getting perfect results, as it is taking input properly and generating output properly. So this is a simple program, but we are not stopping here. I'm going a little one more step down into the discussion. Okay, put a debugger. This is very important. Trust me, today whole of my development is done with the debugging only, because without doing that, I cannot, you know, it's difficult for me to declare next steps in the coding. So today what I did is I put debugger points and see what data is coming, because I have to see that data time to time. If I should see that data, then debugging is very important. I'm sharing you all that is happening in a real environment, in a development. Okay. Maybe if you think that this is debugging is nothing, we don't need it, or if you take it light. So tomorrow, definitely when you are working, you understand the importance of this. Got it right? So I'm giving you a heads up. Put a debugger. Understand the flow properly through debugging. Right? So now when you put a break, this is called, where you can see here, right? Wherever you want to put that debugging point or break point. So this mark is called breakpoint. I want to analyze. I want to observe the execution flow of for loop. So I put a breakpoint here. Suppose I want to just see the result, I put a breakpoint here. Suppose I just want to see how print is executing, I put a breakpoint there. So that's how you, first thing, when you are debugging a program, the important thing is you should clearly know where you should put the breakpoints. That is important. So that is step one. Step two, run your program in, you can see here, don't run directly. If you are putting a breakpoint and debugging, then you should run your program in debug mode. Now you can see it's asking, see, it's waiting for input here. So this debugging had to start, because once I give input, once it comes to line 7, it starts debugging. So I'm giving 10. Let's give 5. That is enough just to analyze this debugging. The 5 iterations would be enough for us. So I am giving 5 as input here. So what do you do right now? And then once you give 5 as input, press enter. Now you can see here debugging started. Now what is that you should do? You can see these are all options for debugging. You can also use direct that shortcuts, F8, all that. You can see this is F7. This is Shift Alt Shift F7. This is Shift plus F8. So you can put cursor on these, these debugging options and see what shortcuts are available. If you want, you can use those shortcuts as well. So now I am going with this debugging options itself. I am not using any shortcuts. So here I want to analyze each step in this code. Then you should use this step over. Okay, this step into is required if you have any function call, and if you want to get into that function and analyze the execution flow of function, at such times we should use step into. And step into my code is almost same as this one. And finally, step out. Suppose you want to come out of a function. Okay, analyzing function, you can just choose step out, then it will immediately come back to the caller. Okay, now let us start debugging. I try to explain the importance of these options here, these debugging options. So for us, these two are enough for most of the time. At least for now, the first option is enough. Okay, to go line by line execution. So click on this. You can see it started to iterate. This range function generates elements from 1 to 10. It provides 1 to 11, but internally it iterates from 1 to 10. Okay, that's what this range does here. So that is one thing. Every time loop iterates, one value from range is copied to I. This I is a dummy variable. It's not like you should use I here. This is a dummy variable name. This can be I or X or Y or Z or anything. You can name as you like here. Just one variable is enough. Now I has one. You can see what is there inside I. It is assigned with one. Now now after that what here we are performing sum of this numbers from 1 to 10. Now we try to add this value of I to result, that 1 is added to result. Initially result is set to 0. If you add anything with 0, what is that? 0 plus anything, it becomes that value, that anything. And value result is not changed if you set it to 0 while adding. Okay. Now again, step over. See, this addition is performed. If you put a cursor on that, you can see result has 1 now. Similarly, every time loop iterates, that value of I is added to this result, and again that total result, whatever we get adding I to result, is again reassigned to result. That new value, whatever we get here, that is reassigned to the result. Okay, again carry this. Now again I becomes 2. That 2 is added to the previous result. 1 plus 2 becomes 3. That 3 is assigned to the result back. Again, you can debug this. So now I changes to 3. Now that 3 will be added to the previous result. That previous result is, you can see here, result, it's showing result here. You can see, observe. You can view all that values that are present at the moment. Okay. Currently, in current stage, what value is there in each of these variables, you can see here. Okay. Now again, debug it. Now this 3 is added to the previous result, that is 3. 3 plus 3 becomes 6, and that has been again replaced here with that 6 replaces 3 here. See, like this is how you understand the execution flow. Again what? Again one more time, I becomes 4. That 4 is added to result, which is 6. 6 plus 4 becomes 10, and that 10 is again assigned to result. Now do that. Iterate it when this logic is implemented, or this when logic is executed automatically, you can see that there is a change in result. That result is replaced with 10 here. Again, one more time, I becomes 5. 5 plus 10, it becomes 15. So finally what? The end of this thing came. The total execution come to an end. So if you see, when I say one more time step over, you can see that the control has jumped out of this for loop because the total execution is done. Whatever values that is generated by range are completely iterated from 1 to 5, so that once internally, if that it for reaches 6, it stops iteration. Okay, so that is the idea. Now finally we are printing here. You can see the output here. What is that? The result is 15. So this is how we should debug a program, and you have to master this. This is very important, trust me. So that is the idea, friends. All of you are clear? Maybe you can quickly test this code, or you have plenty of time while I am explaining. Okay, you might test this now. Please test it. I just shared you the code. Test the code. So all of you are clear? Is it clear for all of you? Can I get an S from all of you? Please use any that thumbs up or something just to respond, friends. Good, right? How about others? Are you able to get it? So this is about finding sum of first and natural numbers using for loop. Okay. Next one. What is next? I'll just try to show you how to implement one more program. Sum of factors of a number with for loop. We did this with while. You remember, I have shown you how to do all that. Okay. But now what you can do? You can rewrite same program with for loop here. Sum of factors of a number. So what do you do here? Take a number and then try to find factors of that number. Let me show you how to do that. Take a new file and right click new. I use this package for loop. For all programs, what we do with for, I try to keep all those programs in this package for loop. Okay. So right click and then new and then Python file. And then you can just name this as a sum of factors. Okay. Of some n. Just enter. Right. Now, first thing, as always, input or read a value from keyboard. Value from keyboard. That is one thing. Not keyword. You should read from keyboard. That value can be n itself. Read n from keyboard. So how do you do that now? Program is what? Program is a sum of factors. Sorry. Am I finding sum of factors? First do one thing, friends. More than finding sum of factors, first print factors. That makes your job easy. Program to print factors of a number. So do one thing, keep it as is. I'll just create one more. So create a file. So what is that you do? Print factors of n. This should be fine. We'll come back to this again later. Okay. First thing, this is the program. So what is that? Printing. You always, so you try to habituate this. Okay. So implement all this, providing proper comments on the printing factors of a number. So that is one thing. Next one. For that, step one, read n from keyboard. What is that you should do? Read n from keyboard. I am giving clearly explaining step by step. Even if you are new, you can try to understand that. Still, if you don't understand, wait back after class. Just wait after class. I'll still try to explain in detail, slowly, clearly. Even now, I am very slow, but still, no, I can speak Telugu, English, broken Hindi. Maybe I can help you with these languages. Okay. So now n equal to, right? You have to apply conversion int of input of what you should say enter in here. Right? That is fine. Now, after this, what is that I should do? I should iterate a loop to find to print factors of a number. How to find factors? I have to iterate loop from 1 to n. So what is that I should do? Iterate loop, that for loop, whatever it is, for loop from, I'm giving you, this is an algorithm here. These steps are nothing but a simple steps for algorithm from 1 to n. How do you do that? For in, use range function. Range function should iterate from 1 comma. So 1 is start. Suppose if you want to start from 10, then the start value has to be 10. Okay, 1 comma n plus 1. Why n plus 1? If you pass n, it will end with n minus 1. If I say n plus 1, it will end with n. Even if you miss one factor, means you are missing something. So if you want to get all factors, you should iterate this for loop from 1 to that number n. Okay, that is step 2. Now after this, what is that I should do? So now I should apply a logic here, condition check. What is that condition check? If I should see, I'm just writing here, or we should, because we all do this. We should see if I is a factor of what? Of n. How do I know that if I is a factor of n or not? Simple. To know if I is factor of n, divide n with I. If I divides n, I is a factor. Means if remainder becomes 0, if if remainder becomes 0, when I divides n, if we get remainder as 0, then I divides that n. That is the how we have to implement condition. So to do that condition check, definitely what is that we use? We use a if here, if n percentile I equal to 0. Okay, means you divide that n with I and checking that if that remainder, whatever the value we get here after dividing I, if it is 0, then that number is I is a factor. If it is 0, it's a factor. If it is not 0, it's not a factor. So now that is a factor. If it is true, then we should print that I, because I is a factor there. So print, okay, use simple print here. Open a placeholder is a factor of one more placeholder. Why two placeholders? I just put value here. One is a factor, two is a factor, something like that. One is a factor of whatever the value we input from keyboard to that number. This one is factor, two is factor, three is factor of that number. Dot, what is that you should do? Format, and then you should pass what? In first placeholder, dash is a factor of dash, means in the first dash it should be I, in the second dash it should be n. So assume that this placeholder as a dash if you get confused, if you are little confused. Dash is a factor of dash. That dash has to be filled in with what? First dash should be I. So comma, second dash should be n. Over, we are done. Okay, so we are done with implementing printing factors of a number. Over. Now let's run this now. What do you do? Right click and then run this and create. So now input a value from keyboard, give some 6 for finding factors and press enter. 1 is a factor of 6, 2 is a factor of 6, 3 is a factor of 6, 6 is a factor of 6. Will all of you agree with this output? Does all of you agree with this output, friends? So definitely this is perfect output. And you can see this is how we generally need to code your program with proper comments, all this. So that's it, friends. I hope you understood how to implement printing factors of a number. All of you are clear with this. Can I get an S from all of you from the, can I get an S or some hands up or hands down, something? Okay. Following, friends. Right. So this is idea about printing factors of a number. Now what is our, all of you are good with this? Please test this program. I just passed in the chat box. Please confirm once you do testing. Okay. I'll just give you a half minute. So just quickly test that code. Or you, if you want, you can write it or you can copy and paste and test it. Later on, you can analyze that. It's up to you. Okay. Shall I jump to the next program with for loop? Okay, good. Now, next program is program to find sum of factors of a number, right? How to find sum of factors? Already we just created a program to find factors of a number. Now, finding sum of factors is so simple because already this logic has half of the information, not half of 80 to 90% of the information is with this logic. Only thing is you just need to add one more variable sum or some result and then do some addition internally. You need to perform some sum internally. That too you have to do the sum of factors this time. In the previous program, right, we tried to find sum of first and natural numbers. That logic is almost same here, but with little difference. This time we should not add all natural numbers, all numbers. We just need to add only whichever number is a factor. Okay, now let us open this program, sum of factors. So this program is printing sum of factors of a number using what, friends? Using the that's all, not using, sorry, sum of factors of a number. Now, first thing, read n. First step one is what? Read a value from keyboard. Okay. Now, n equal to int of, do the casting to int, input of, then what is that you should do? Enter n. So this is step one. But I think this almost this is like what is that? This statement would have been strongly stored in your mind if I'm not wrong, right? This statement should be strongly got stored into your memory because we are doing it every time in our programs. Next one, step two, as usual, iterate. I'm doing it again and again only to make sure you become familiar, that become hands-on to you. That's all, friends. After a while, all these things becomes very simple for you even to think and apply. Iterate for loop. Again, from where to where? From 1 to that number. Then for I in a range of, from where you should start? You should start with n and then n plus 1. Why n plus 1? If you put n, it ends with n minus 1. So that's why you should put n plus 1 so that it ends with n. And you have to make sure you divide n, this n, with all possible factors. That is important from 1 through that number. That's why you should make sure that you are passing proper start value and proper end value. That is very important, friends. Okay, then after that, what? Condition check. As usual, we had discussed all this in the previous example as well. I am discussing again on a purpose so that all of you become familiar, become hands-on with this, all these things. Okay, else I would have just completed this quickly like that. This is this. Okay, condition check. What is that condition check here? If the condition check is if I divides, right? If I divides n or not, that is the condition check. So how do you do that? If n percentile, when I say I divides n, it should be n percentile I, not the opposite, I percentile n. N is the number for which we are finding factors. So we should divide n with I and then say if that remainder is 0, make sure you follow proper indentation. You can see inside for loop, I am providing a tab space every time. That is actually a block in Python. Okay, you don't create as you like. You have to provide this indentation. Indentation is keeping statements inside to that construct, that loop, or that if, that while, whatever it is, with some space. generally a tab space is recommended. Okay, follow the indentation as well. If this is if n divides I is 0, then you have to just make sure print that this time we are finding sum, right? If you want to do sum of factors, this gives you this condition checks if I is a factor of n or not. It divides n and see if it is remainder is 0 or not. That is fine. Okay. Once it is a factor, you should add all these factors. So to add all these factors, first thing, declare a variable. What is that? This variable for result. Variable to store result. And here, what is that variable? You can put directly result equal to 0. Generally in these kind of reassignment, wherever there is reassignment of results, so set it to 0 if you are doing addition, set it to 1 if you are doing product or if you are doing multiplication. Okay, because this is addition, set it to 0. Now come here. If it is a factor, then result equal to, you should say result plus I. If I is a factor, then you should just keep on adding I to this result. Okay, that is the logic you have to implement. I think we are almost done. Finally, what we are done with logic. Whatever logic that is needed, we have applied it, and then whatever loop is needed, we have included. Now, finally, we have almost completely done with logic part. Only remaining is just need to print this result. So print, what is that? This sum of, okay, factors of n means put a placeholder is, put a sum of factors of dash is dash. Sum of factors of that number is something. Finally, we should pass that sum. So dot format. First thing in the first dash, factors of dash means this n. Put n, comma. Second should be result. So finally, copy this result. Not inside for loop. See, if it is something which has total result, these kind of results you should print outside loop, not inside loop or inside if. Got it right? So finally, here what is that you should do? Copy this result and put it here. So this is how finally make sure you are closing all brackets properly. Otherwise, sometimes it gives compilation error. That's all. Nothing much to worry. So finally, we are done. Now run this program. Fine, right? All of you are good with this, right? So right click and then run this sum of factors of n. Give some n here. Maybe just now we have passed 6, right? We know what are factors of 6, 1, 2, 3, and 6. So enter 6. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6. 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. Perfect output. Hence, this program is working as expected. Okay. So you can copy this. I'm sharing in the chat box. Please try to execute this program. Okay. Try to run this in chat. Execute this program. Take a half minute or whatever time, quick time you need. Just run that code and see if it is working for you. But generally, I recommend instead of copying and pasting, you try to understand each statement which we are typing in the program, and you try to type each line, and try to understand what we are doing, and then run it. Anyhow, I am going very slow here. Hardly we just did 3 programs in this entire whole session as of now. Maybe we might do one more program by the time we finish this session today. Done? How about others? All of you are good? Jins and Tulsi Ram and Veera and Pradeep and Suresh. All of you are fine? Right. Then,
Yes, sir.
then what do we do? Shall we try primer composite? Tomorrow, what we do is I'll try to introduce a bit of nested loops, because you need a lot of you need to play with nested loops as well. I'll introduce all that use cases in data structures. Okay. It's more like these sessions will be like you are in some programming sessions, like you don't feel like you are in some theory sessions. Continuously, there will be coding, coding, coding. Trust me. Prasad, whatever, doubt you expressed about these programming sessions generally, that definitely that thirst will be fulfilled here. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So now we'll try this primar composite with for loop. You have to understand how to play with while, how to play with for. When you do all programs, what you implement with while, if you can do that with for, then you definitely your this thing understanding towards logic or for loop or usage, all that improves a lot in leaps and bounds. Okay, understand that. Now, prime or composite. Let's play with that. Are you ready? See, whatever the foundation that is needed to implement this prime or composite, we did in the previous two programs. Right? This almost we completed prime or composite program. How? See, if you see here, we are actually building we are building each logic step by step. So first we found factors of we print factors of number. And then we found sum of factors. Actually, to find prime or composite, you need to find sum of factors. So what we did, we broke down this program into parts. And then we tried to implement step by step. Now our job to create prime or composite is simple. What is prime number? Prime number has just two factors. What is that? One and itself. Okay, that is a prime number. You got it right? So the point is, once you know how to find factors, it's so easy to check if that number is prime or composite. Why? If prime has exactly two factors. If sum of factors of any number is just two, if it is just two, if sum of factors is just two, not sum, just a minute, friends. Not sum, friends, count. You need to do one more program here. We found sum of factors. We need to find count of factors to find composite. Almost a similar logic. We are almost there. There is nothing big difference between sum of factors and the count of factors. If you find count of factors, then automatically this is simple. So how do you do that? Let me show you. Then to this sum of factors is actually equal to that number. There is a logic actually. Let me just see. What number is that? If sum of factors of a number, what is it? Not prime factorization. There is some logic I don't remember. Is equal to actual number. Is equal to number. What is that number? There is some name for that. I'm just looking for that. Is called, somebody already tried this. Perfect number. Yes. Okay. You can see. So if you want to implement, we'll do one by one here. Okay. That is perfect number. So to implement perfect number, this logic is important. Finding sum of factors. So already if you do this, implementing perfect number is a simple thing. So after that, maybe you can try. You can give it little later. Program to find if a number is perfect number. We'll do it little later. Now we go for count of factors. Is a perfect number. But whatever foundation is needed, we have already clearly discussed that for perfect or for prime. Now let us implement this count of factors. Go to the PyCharm. So what do you do? Create one more new program, Python file, and say count of factors. Okay, maybe you can say half n or something if you want. Okay. Close this other windows so that it will be all clear for you. What is that you should do now? First, read n from keyboard as usual. That is one thing. Okay. How to read n from keyboard? I think this is something very repetitive. We are doing it. Just a minute, friends. So now all of you know this, right? N equal to, you can do this step, you do it yourself. Okay. Input of enter n. Okay. So after this, what? I think by now these steps are familiar to you, right? Can you please answer in the chat box? What is step 2? Iterate n from 1 to n. But for this count of factors, what program we are doing here? We are doing what is it? This program is a count of factors, right? So for count of factors, once you read n or declare n, declaring a count variable is important and assigning to 0. Assigning that to 0 is important. Initially, assume that the count factors are 0. Okay. Just a minute, friends. Sorry for interruption. Initially, count of factors is 0. So we are setting it to 0. Now, once you declare count, okay, iterate it from n to 1 to n. For that, we did this number of times for I in range of 1 comma n plus 1. I think you are familiar, right? Put colon, follow the indentation here. And then what is that you should do? First, you should see if I is a factor of n or not. So you should provide a condition check again. See, and then just validate the condition. What is the condition check? If n is divided by I properly or not. How do you check that? If I divides n properly, just equate to 0. If it is true, then it is dividing properly. Else, it's not dividing. That's all. After that, what? This time, don't print I. If I divides n, don't print it. Or if I divides n, don't add it. What is that you should do then? If I is a factor, if this I divides n, if it is 0, if it is equal to 0, if I is a factor, then simply say count equal to count plus 1. Just increment count. Every time I divides an increment count, then that gives you count of factors. And from there, it's easy for you. You just need to do a condition check. Right, that's it. Now we are done with almost all the core part of logic implementation for count of factors. Okay, now finally, what is that you should do? Come out of for loop. See, come to parallelly to with for. Here, don't again follow any indentation. We are done with finding count. Now we should print it. Okay. Print the count of factors. Factors of some dash is dash. Means just these are placeholders. Just fill in those placeholders. Come out of this course, that's apply format, and then pass in first dash pass n, factors of n. In the second dash pass count. Okay, is that good for you? Finally, we have created a program to find count of factors. So run this program now, run this. Test it multiple times, give 3 or 4 values and test your program. No harm in testing. Understand how program is behaving. Or and another thing, see if you are getting expected results. That is important. So pass. So what is this now? Pass 6. Enter. Count of factors of 6, no doubt it is 4. Okay. Suppose right click, run it again. So that is a composite number. No doubt. By looking at that number of factors, we can understand it's a composite number. Now, if you look at this, suppose give prime number, enter, you can see the count of factors of 7 is 2. By this, it's very clear. Count is this program. Count of factors is working properly, perfectly as expected. Got it right? From here, finding prime or composite is a very simple job. You just need to add a simple condition check. Okay, that we create as a separate program only to make sure that your experience of understanding and applying improves with each time I try to explain you the same logic, similar logic again and again. But are you good till this? Can I get NS from all of you? Hope you are following this, all this. Good here? Okay. I got 1 thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. Okay. Fine. So what we do is we'll stop here. Tomorrow we try to check primer composite and then we try to implement a perfect number and then palindrome Armstrong and nested loops. Very important. Don't miss these sessions. Okay. I hope you are following all these sessions. Still, no, you have always this thing opportunity to stay back and ask me again. I am always there to help you. Got it? So that's all, friends, for today. We'll stop here. Okay. So I just stop recording sessions.